And Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi discussed security arrangements for the planned second round of Islamabad talks with the United States ambassador to Pakistan, Natalie Baker, in the capital on Monday. President Donald Trump announced on Sunday that representatives from Washington were heading to Islamabad and they would be there tomorrow evening for a second round of negotiations with Iran, after the first round of talks hosted by Pakistan ended without an agreement. And Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was given one of the highest honours in internet menswear fashion on Sunday, a glowing endorsement from the menswear guy on X. Derek Guy. The editor of Fashion Magazine put this on, wrote how beautiful Western-style tailoring is often worn by men from non-Western countries. As examples, he presented three men: Emperor Naruhito of Japan, senior Nigerian economist Akinwumi Adesina, and Shehbaz, each with his own signature style. And the Sindh government has announced strict action against students and examination staff involved in cheating during board exams, following serious concerns raised during the ongoing matriculation examinations in Karachi. The exams have been affected by widespread allegations of cheating, paper leaks and bribery, raising questions about the credibility of the examination system. And Naran, a key tourist hub in the Kagahan Valley, is expected to reopen to visitors as authorities work to restore traffic on the Mansura-Naran Jalkad Road. The National Highway Authority has deployed machinery to cut through glaciers and clear snow, with traffic likely to resume within a few days after being suspended for nearly 6 months.
The Peshawar High Court has ruled that minor offences should not be treated as adverse entries in police clearance certificates, PCC, drawing a clear distinction between petty crimes and those involving serious misconduct. A bench comprising Justice Syed Madasar Amir and Justice Aurangzeb issued the decision while allowing a petition filed by a citizen seeking the removal of a minor conviction from his record.
And Chief Minister Maryam Nawaz has approved Punjab's first Skyglass Bridge project in Kotli Satian Maree district as part of a broader plan to expand tourism infrastructure in the region. The approval was granted during a meeting jointly presided over by Nawaz Sharif and the Chief Minister, where progress on the Maree Protection and Rehabilitation Plan was reviewed. And Karachi Kings passer Hassan Ali has backed concerns raised by Pakistan T20I captain Salman Ali Agha over the early promotion of young players to the national team, and stressing that emerging cricketers should only be given opportunities once they are fully developed. And speaking at a post-match press conference after Karachi Kings' 11-run loss to Multan Sultans in the 28th match of Pakistan Super League PSL 11 at National Bank Stadium, Hassan said Pakistan has a tendency to fast-track young talent prematurely. And infectious diseases experts have warned that Pakistan's HIV epidemic is no longer confined to traditional high-risk groups, with about 39% of infections now found among non-key low-risk populations, including women and children. And while virus-related deaths have risen by more than 500% over the past decade, the news reported, speaking at a press conference at the Karachi Press Club on Saturday. And experts from the Medical Microbiology and Infectious Diseases Society of Pakistan said unsafe injections and contaminated blood transfusions and weak infection control in healthcare settings were fueling a dangerous and largely preventable rise in HIV cases.
Mindy Cohn has long been a familiar face to television audiences, first breaking out as Natalie Green on the beloved 1980s sitcom The Facts of Life. Now, decades later, she's back in the spotlight for her role opposite Kristen Wiig in Apple TV Plus' Palm Royale, and for her remarkable resilience off-screen.
And Blake Lively is empathising with Justin Bieber. The Gossip Girl alum has penned a message of support for the pop star after he made his comeback with Coachella 2026, criticising the massive hate he received as a teen idol. And as temperatures climb across the country, electricity demand has surged, prompting the Power Division to request 4 liquefied natural gas, LNG, cargoes from the Petroleum Division, Geo News reported. In a letter addressed to the Petroleum Division, the Power Division warned that failure to secure LNG supplies could lead to increased load shedding. It cautioned that in the absence of LNG, power producers would be forced to rely on costly diesel, driving up generation expenses.
That David Gross has won the Special Breakthrough Prize for Fundamental Physics with a whopping $3 million prize, as announced by the Breakthrough Prize Foundation on April 18, 2026. The prize honors scientists whose discoveries have contributed significant advancement to the development of human knowledge.
And ingredients: K&N's croquettes, 2830 croquettes, and a terrorist and his accomplice, an alleged suicide bomber, were killed by security forces during an intelligence-based operation in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Banu district, the military's media affairs wing said on Monday. In a statement, the Inter-Services Public Relations, ISPR, said an IBO was conducted on Sunday on the reported presence of Khawarij.
That Islamabad. The momentum of economic growth in Asia-Pacific developing countries slowed to 4.6% in 2025 and is projected to drop to 4% in 2026 as fallout from the Middle East situation weighs on energy prices. That supply chains and external demand due to the conflict in the Middle East, said a new United Nations report on Monday. That the 2026 edition of the Economic and Social Survey of Asia and the Pacific suggests that regional countries need to rely more on domestic and regional demand, that while carefully managing the shift to clean energy to avoid short-term economic and social disruptions.
And on World Liver Day, observed under the theme Solid Habits, Strong Liver, the Pakistan Medical Associations expressed concern over the increasing burden of liver-related diseases in Pakistan. According to PMA Secretary General Abdul Ghaffur Shoro, Pakistan carries one of the highest burdens of viral hepatitis globally.
That archaeologists have discovered a rare circular structure dedicated to a local Egyptian deity called Pelusius, according to Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. The 2,200-year-old religious building includes complex water infrastructure and was once connected to the Nile, suggesting it was used for sacred water rituals. That four contenders are squaring up to succeed Antonio Guterres as leader of the United Nations, which faces unprecedented global instability, wars, and its own crushing budget crisis. Charles Michel Bachelet, Argentina's Rafael Grossi, Costa Rican Rebecca Grinspan, and Senegal's Macky Sall will each face grillings by 193 member states and NGOs for 3 hours on Tuesday and Wednesday.
And Andrew Mountbatten Windsor may have been exiled from the royal fold, but it appears that he holds some influence which has made the British government nervous. Amid the ongoing investigation into the Epstein files released by the US Department of Justice, the disgraced brother of King Charles was asked to testify in front of the FBI. And two terrorists, including a ringleader, were neutralized after security forces conducted an intelligence-based operation in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Banu district, the Inter-Services Public Relations said on Monday. According to the military's media affairs wing, the security forces conducted the operation on April 19 in Banu district on the reported presence of terrorists. And Rawalpindi. A gunman who opened fire outside the Quran and Sunnah Academy of religious scholar engineer Muhammad Ali Mirza in Jhelum was killed in a police response on Sunday, while the scholar remained unharmed. The news reported that the incident occurred while engineer Mirza was delivering his routine lecture at the academy when an unidentified assailant suddenly resorted to indiscriminate firing. Amjad has been delivering food in Karachi for 6 years. His bike, a machine so ubiquitous in Pakistan it might as well be a national symbol, burns through 5 litres of petrol a week. When oil prices spiked in March 2026 and his fuel bill jumped by nearly a third overnight. He does not own the bike. He pays daily rental to a fleet owner and splits whatever margin remains between revenue and costs. Some nights after fuel and rental, and he clears less than 500. He has heard about electric bikes. So he asked the same question everyone in his position asks: how does one pay an upfront cost for an electric bike? And that question is the crux of Pakistan's electric motorcycle problem. The economics are not in dispute. An electric motorcycle running on 1 and 4 kilowatt of charge per trip costs 40 in electricity versus 300 plus 325 in petrol for the same 60 kilometers. Annual operating savings run around 70,000 per bike, enough to pay back the price difference in under 2 years.
Lucky Marwat. 2 terrorists were killed and a police constable embraced martyrdom in a gun battle in Lucky Marwat district of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Police said on Monday. District police spokesperson Qudratullah Khan said the gunfight erupted when police conducted a targeted operation in a forest near the Kundan area bordering Banu district.
And at least 3 liquefied natural gas, LNG, cargoes destined for Pakistan are currently stranded in the Persian Gulf amid continued disruption around the Strait of Hormuz, according to vessel tracking data compiled by Bloomberg, and raising concerns over worsening electricity shortages as temperatures rise. Pakistan has been without LNG shipments for more than a month since the closure of the key shipping route, and increasing the risk of extended power outages across the country, according to officials familiar with the situation. And dead. Paris, more than 50 nations are attending a world-first conference on phasing out fossil fuels in Colombia next week, as the war against Iran underscores how dependent countries remain on planet-heating coal, oil and gas. Ministers arrive in the Caribbean city of Santa Marta against a backdrop of wartime fuel shortages, soaring prices and a scramble for energy security in what the International Supply Agency has called the biggest oil supply shock ever.
That. Billie Eilish is still pinching herself after Biebercella. The Grammy-winning singer revealed she can't stop crying after Bieber serenaded her during his performance of One Less Lonely Girl during weekend 2 of Coachella on Saturday, April 18. Billie, who is a well-known Justin Bieber superfan and his longtime friend, even shared a picture of her bloodshot eyes to her Instagram stories from back home. That. Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton have all but confirmed they are the latest power couple in Hollywood, hard launching their relationship with a high-profile date night in Malibu. The Skims mogul and the British Formula One champion were spotted enjoying an intimate 2-hour dinner at Nobu on Saturday, looking entirely smitten as they made their way to the oceanfront celebrity hotspot.
And whichever way the Iran war ends, its consequences will be felt for a long time to come. Its security, economic and diplomatic fallout has global implications, and this will urge countries to reshape policy priorities in the face of changing realities and a fragmenting international order. First, consider the economic fallout of the war. The economic toll will obviously be heaviest on the Middle East. But the damage to critical energy infrastructure and disruption in oil shipments and energy supplies have far-reaching global ramifications affecting countries across the world. The price of oil and gas has soared, and international energy markets were thrown into turmoil by the war, from which the global economy will take time to recover. And the International Energy Agency has described this as the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. The world also confronts a shortage of natural gas, and the destruction of gas facilities means full liquefied natural gas, or LNG, production capacity could take years to rebuild. The energy crisis has forced countries to raise prices, order rationing, and adopt austerity measures to reduce demand. IT was the face that launched 1,000 accusations of anti-Semitism, each as hysterical as the face in question was hideous. It started with a cover story on the Italian magazine L'Espresso, and featuring an Israeli soldier settler terrorist filming a distraught Palestinian woman whom he and his fellow settler soldier terrorist friends had come to harass. And it was a scene that occurs almost daily in occupied Palestine, with the approval and support of the government and armed forces of Israel, and the story in El Espresso, titled "Abuse is Nothing New for Those Who Follow These Daily Acts of Harassment and Occupation," What really triggered the Zionists, though, and wasn't the content of the story, but the face of the said soldier, which is so fascinatingly ugly that you simply cannot tear your eyes away from it, even as your senses revolt and your stomach churns. And his thin lips are pulled back in a simian grin, exposing pallid, retracting gums and yellowed teeth with the hint of fangs. His eyes are demonic, crowned by a single long eyebrow that resembles nothing as much as it does a giant furry caterpillar, and the kind you would have a heart attack to find on your pillow. His sideburns, long and matted, form two sickly dreadlocks, like a hellish bootleg version of Bob Marley. And the one positive thing you could say about his hair, facial and otherwise, is that it takes the attention away from his Neanderthal cranial ridge.
That concerns grew on Monday that the ceasefire between the United States and Iran might not hold after the US said it had seized an Iranian cargo ship that tried to run its blockade, and Iran vowed to retaliate. Efforts to build a more lasting peace in the region likewise appeared to be on shaky ground, as Iran said it would not participate in a second round of negotiations that the US had hoped to kick off before the ceasefire expires on Tuesday.